Why don't you talk about what you've kind of learned in your experience so
far? I've learned a lot, like coming from, like I've never done personal training before this, so this is like my first, like I guess step into the industry. Freeform was like my first choice when I was looking on Indeed in like February of like 2020, I don't know, 2 or 1?
What are we, 2023? 2022, yeah.
Yeah, whatever year that was. And seeing like a lot of different jobs, and I had obviously heard that like there's a lot of sales, and that's kind of like what I wanted to get away from. Of course, there's still like aspects of that when you're talking to people, but for me, I came from a sales background and a customer service background, so I was like, I'm really eager to just like connect with people and use my certification of personal training, you know, for that. And then I saw that Freeform had like more opportunity for growth, and for me, like not knowing, like I've never done this job before, I've never been in this industry, I wanted like more knowledge and stuff. So that was like my number one choice. And I remember talking to Sean and going through like this awesome process of learning more about the company and just getting more like, okay, this is definitely where I want to start. This is what I want. So coming from like literally no experience to like having so much more after a year has been a lot of growth in a good way. So like I know how to talk to people, I know how to program. I like this was like such a good job for me as I was developing, is I guess what I'm trying to state. So looking back at that from here to now is crazy. Like so much growth. It's been challenging, it's been rewarding. I'm really like happy to be in a position where I can kind of help people and just connect with people on like this huge like lifestyle change and helping them along the way.
Now, even though this was your first personal training job, you did work in a gym before.
I worked as, like I was saying, I have a lot of sales background. So I was a sales associate for another gym for maybe a year. And that's what got me into the like idea that I wanted to be a trainer, because I saw like how trainers could really like connect with people and help people. And like, I'm like very passionate about the health and fitness industry and what it can do for, you know, your life and how it can benefit like your whole life. So seeing that connection that they had, I was like, oh, I've never wanted something like that before, but I really want that. So I started to do my certification while I was still working as a sales associate. That's another reason why I wanted to get away from sales. I was like, I've been doing this for so long. Like I really like that intimate one-on-one feel. So like how perfect is it that I ended up like on a one-on-one personal training like facility? Like that's right up my alley. I'm really grateful to have that experience. Like today. Good. That's awesome.
Let's take us back to your first few months as a trainer. What was that like? Like what were you worried about, and how did you kind of like get your feet wet and be more comfortable training people?
I was pretty worried about everything, to be honest. Well, with things that are new, you don't have a precedent to kind of go off of them, right? So this is like new, uncharted territory for me. I remember being worried about money. You really need to be passionate about like this job in order to like keep going, because you have to build up your schedule with people, and people are people. So some people are on vacation, some people are away, or some people are sick. So having like not the most consistent thing was challenging for me, but really rewarding like in a couple of months when my like the schedule does build up. I just had to keep reminding myself like that it will be better financially. But that's why you have to be so in to this industry. Like you can't have like one foot out, because like you need to work very hard on and to know that it's not the most, it can be like unstable at times, right? Especially as you're starting out like me. I was like worried about like, oh, I don't really know like if this is right. I don't know 100% of everything. No one does, right? But I was in a mindset where I was like, okay, like this feels monumentous, like a mountain, you know, like it feels like, okay, some people have been in the industry for 10 years and I'm just like, hi. So I found it was really helpful to be in a gym with other people that were training, because I'm eclectic in the way that I can like watch something and try to learn about it and then implement it. So I found that was helpful. If I had started my own business, let's say, I wouldn't know what to do.
Right.
So working with other trainers and in the environment has been really helpful. But yeah, I remember being really like nervous and yeah, it's intimidating for sure. And like you were talking to me before we started the podcast, like how clients think, oh, it's intimidating to go to a gym. A new trainer thinks, oh my God, this is intimidating to go to a gym full of people that are doing the same job as you and have more experience. So yeah, I'm really grateful that I've gotten like such great experience. Like I know like what I'm doing now, so that's really nice. Yeah. It feels like a little bit, I kind of know what to apply because I've done it like a few times. So that's a big relief, I guess.
Definitely, like we all have to start somewhere.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Everybody has a first day. Everybody is a newbie
at some point.
Time.
Yeah.
For me, back when I was more in charge of doing the hiring,
a
lot of things that I looked for is basically, you know, how your personality, for one, you really have to be able to communicate and interact with people.
Yeah.
Because, you know, us trainers like to say, people aren't buying our training services, they're kind of buying us and that relationship that they have with us as people, right? It is a big part of it.
It is.
Because, people, as much as they do enjoy the exercise and what it does for them, I'd like to think they like us.
Yeah, of course. You want like a connection, right? That's like smooth and easygoing, where this like can be hard to get into, like the first step of like, you know, coming in, having a consultation, having an assessment, and then like going through the motions. And a lot of people haven't ever gone through that before. So if you can have someone that like is in your corner, that's like what I would be paying for, is like someone to keep me accountable, someone in my corner. And I think that's like definitely like that relationship aspect is what, I don't know, what makes the business run.
Exactly. We talk a lot about this on our podcast and all the other videos and our social media, but what really makes people successful is just making sure they're being consistent with the business.
Yeah.
Right?
Easier said than done as well. So it's really great to have a trainer.
Exactly. But because the concept is so simple, that means like for most people, they don't necessarily need a super experienced trainer.
That's the thing.
Who knows like a ton of details about whatever muscle.
You just have to be there like for them. Like that's really like, I think what's made me kind of go far is like I'm very good at making connections with people, because I genuinely like care about them, and like I can kind of see where they're coming from too, having like past experiences and stuff like with weight loss or like even just like activity and getting more active. So to be able to relate is like very valuable as a trainer, I think.
And for anybody who hasn't seen it already, Anna was on our podcast about a year ago talking about her personal journey.
Has it been a year already?
Yeah.
Wow.
Over a year. Yeah.
My gosh, that's wild.
Yes, definitely check that out.
Yeah.
Because it's a pretty incredible story. Like you had a lot of success on your own, so now you're trying to kind of like pay it forward and help other people.
Definitely. I think it's like so hard, and coming from experience, and like just before like we started the podcast, I have a client and he's going through like really difficult like plateau right now, and he's feeling like really discouraged, and I was like, do you want to see my chart of my weight and how long I plateaued for months? And I think it just helps, because like I don't know if everyone has that same experience with a trainer, and like to normalize like the struggle is real is helpful. I'm really grateful to be in a position where I can kind of understand a little bit more of like what that feels like. It's very, very hard.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's very difficult.
All people see is the before and after.
Right?
They don't realize the in-between looks like this.
Oh my God, totally. And I even think like the after can be you know, like still very,
are just like a moment in time.
A moment, a snapshot of like an entire journey, right? Yeah. So yeah, for sure. It's not worth 1,000 words in that case. Yes. No, it's more complicated. It's not very black and white. There's a lot in between that goes on. It's difficult.
Yeah. And, you know, there's so much that plays into how much you weigh. That
oh my God.
Nothing to do
there's so many
with,
variables.
Yeah.
Nothing to do with the progress.
Your muscle or your amount of body fat that you have.
Totally. It's like, did you have a sip of alcohol last night? Well, well, it might be different tomorrow. Yeah.
And for us females, the menstrual cycle.
Totally.
Well.
Our hormones.
I remember the very first time this became apparent to me. I was training a client, and she only came once a week, and she wanted to lose quite a bit of weight. Yeah. So we weighed her every week.
Every time.
Her, session. And I remember one time she came in. She was 10 pounds heavier than the week before. 10? Yes, 10. Oh, wow. I was like, I was still relatively new as a trainer. And of course, you know, I probably didn't say the right thing. No, I didn't really know what to say.
That's it's significant, right?
But then the following week, she was back down the 10 pounds. And that was when she told me, I was on my period last week.
Oh my God. That's it. I also feel like a lot of the studies in fitness are not, like, they're getting a little bit better, but it's been focused on, like, men and males and, like, their biology. I'm just learning about, like, this now, that you should, like, train differently according to your cycle. And I was like, that makes complete sense. But I never thought about it because everything I learned was just, like, very, you know, like, here it is. But that's for men, not always the best for women. So like when we're in our, you know, our cycle and we're having, like, we might gain more mass and, like, we're holding on to more, like, water, and our hormones can affect our weight too. So just being a bit more compassionate, like, with ourselves, like, we're just human and we're just going through what we need to go through.
Exactly. And it impacts our strength.
It does.
Well.
It does. Yeah,
like,
for sure.
I think it's the week after your period. That's when you're strong.
You're really strong that week. Sometimes even during the end of your cycle, like you're still on your period, you could be very energized. So I was like, oh my God, this is making so much sense. Like, who would have known?
Exactly.
You know?
It's important to tell people, the clients that we're training with, the women, that you know, it's okay if next week you feel weaker.
And you're tired. And it's totally normal. And, like, even just switching up, like, focusing on different things during those weeks, like maybe do some really heavy lifting when you are feeling like energized in that way in your cycle, and then maybe more low impact as you are, like, you know, we already don't feel good, so let's just take it a little bit lighter. Sometimes unloading weights helps too. So it just depends on how the person's feeling in that moment. And some things feel heavier when we're going through that.
Not feeling it.
That's okay. It's totally fine. It's normal. It's normal.
Definitely take advantage of that week where you feel like a superhero.
Right? Just go for it. You like so much energy. It's so great. I wish I was like that, like, all the time. Right? Like, we don't want to feel the other way. But that was news to me. I was like, I might want to do some more research into that and see if I can offer any help to other people too.
And just like how weight loss isn't, you know, linear progress.
Oh my God, not at all.
It's not the same. It's the same with fitness and strength.
Totally.
80 pounds might feel super light one day, and 80 pounds might feel like 200 another day.
And like you're going to pick up something off the ground, like for a deadlift, you're like, this is just sticking to the floor today. And like last week, I was really like, it's just coming up easy. So just taking where you're at, you know, every day.
And it's always fun when clients are surprised. They're like, is this heavier than last week?
Like,
or
nope.
is this lighter?
I know it's the same. That's usually the response. They're like, oh, okay. I'm like, I've been there. Don't worry. That's normal. That's all normal. So many factors can play into that too, like sleep as well. That's something I ask people, like, if they're like, oh, this feels really heavy. I'm like, well, how's your sleep been? And they're usually like, a lot of people struggle with like sleep, and it's like one of the things on like we have a consult questionnaire that people fill out. And one of the questions is on sleep, and I find a lot of the times when I'm meeting people for the first time, it's something that is lacking, like that hygiene of sleep that's lacking. And I don't think people teach us sleep.
No.
Yeah. So, and it's
We're
like
not taught
so.
a lot of things.
No, it's true. We're not taught. We're trying to just like go. Yeah. You can fly or you can sink or whatever. I think that that's such a valuable thing that people might be missing.
Yeah.
On their journey for like health. Sure. Yeah. Do you find the same thing at Wellington? Like a lot of people. Yeah.
And again, it's one of those things that's easier said than
done. My God.
Right.
Because it's habitual. So it's not as simple as like, oh, just go to bed earlier.
Yeah.
Like it's habitual. You're doing this for a reason. Like, but it's harder to get more introspective because it's tough to go into places like that. But usually that's like where the growth happens, is if we feel good enough to confront like whatever's going on. I know like for me, I've struggled with insomnia for like since I was young, and then it will come in and out of my life, and it's mostly anxiety. It's not even due to me like not going to bed earlier or like me really, really trying. It's like it's anxiety. So there's something else that I have to work on. It's easier said than done for sure. Yeah.
And it's tough because it's going to be different for everybody. Right?
Totally.
Like for you, it could be anxiety. For somebody else, maybe they're not eating well.
That's
so
it.
They're not able to sleep and recover well.
Exactly. And all of that is like very hard to change. Not impossible, but very, very hard to be like, okay, well, why am I not eating enough? Yeah. Like, is there something going on? And that's like a little deeper that is outside of our scope too. Yeah. But it's good to know that, that people may be coming from a place that is a little bit outside of what we can do.
Now for you, have you been able to help anybody with getting their sleep habits?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if I've fixed anyone, but but I can offer, help and stuff, or stuff that's worked for me. Is I don't like to follow schedules. I'm like not very good at it. So for me personally, what I do is I set alarms to tell me to go to bed. Right. Like I'm parenting myself. Like I'm a little child and I don't want to go to bed yet. But what I do is I set my alarm 30 minutes before that, because I give myself more time. Yeah. So if I want to be in bed, let's say I want to be in bed by like 9 p.m., which is hard to do on itself, I will set an alarm for 8 p.m. saying you need to wind down, and then 8:30 saying you should go to bed. And usually I go to bed at 9 because I procrastinate. But it's actually the time that I wanted to go to. So just setting that clock a little bit earlier, because I know myself, it's been helping. But then also just like taking care of like yourself and your mental health, like that's probably going to go the furthest. So if it's someone that's like, oh, I'm not eating enough, like your example, well, you might have to, speak to someone or kind of get a little bit more introspective as to why that's happening. And then sleep gets a little bit better when we're not stressed as much, right? That's a double-edged sword for sure. Yeah, it's difficult. All I can offer is like little pieces of advice. Like if I hear something, then I'll be like, hey, have you tried like this or this? But like, it's not one size fits all. And like, it's definitely challenging. Sleep is so important. It like ruins our day if we don't get enough sleep, right? So yeah, I totally sympathize with that. It's really hard.
Yeah, for me, I find that what makes the biggest change is becoming more aware of the difference it makes, right? Because we all know intuitively, we get told all the time.
We do. Yes, for everything. Right?
Yeah, we all know that. But until you notice and feel the difference, it's hard to get into the mindset of, yes, I need to make this a priority. Yeah. So what I try and do is, whenever I notice some, I guess, decline in a client's performance, I'll start asking them specifically about sleep. Yeah, that's good. And then it's like consistent conversations about it, so that over time,
just so you're checking in,
they're able to clue in. Oh, this day I felt crappy
and you're
my workout because I didn't sleep well. And this other time time I felt amazing because I
had
did
good
sleep well.
sleep.
And,
yeah. So you're just trying to check in on them to bring that awareness to the table. Yeah.
Just so that they
that's
can
helpful.
notice that pattern and be like, okay.
Yeah, it's kind of like
does make a big difference.
it does for sure. It is kind of like you want them to come up with the answer, so you're just putting them in the right, scenario as to where, it's sleep. Exactly. Oh, that's why.
Because you probably go through this all the time in your own life,
right?
It's like, oh, some days you feel great, some days you don't.
Totally.
And not very many people stop to actually think about,
not at all.
Are there things that actually play a role?
No, for sure. I think a lot of us are kind of like in our routines, be them like good or negative, and then to sit back and question them is kind of hard because we're so used to doing like X, Y, and Z.
Exactly.
So like if someone's bringing up, maybe I'm not getting, enough of this, then hopefully it will start that awareness. Yeah. That awareness is definitely very helpful for any growth, any lifestyle change. So
Exactly. So that's what I try and do.
That's good.
That awareness, and then at least once they have the buy-in, being like, okay, this really is important. What's the next step?
Yeah. What do we do next? Yeah. Yeah.
Whereas if you just go straight into, you need to improve your sleep, you can do X, Y, Z.
Yeah.
And they'll be like, okay.
But they don't see,
really feel like
right? Because they're not sure of the significance on them yet, right? Yeah. So if you really bring it to the forefront of their mind, then it will be easier for them to be like, maybe I will think about this actually a little bit more.
It's like, okay, do you want to have more of the days where you felt like this?
Yes.
Or the days where you felt like last Tuesday?
Yeah, last Tuesday. Last Tuesday was not good. No, it's definitely something I asked too. Like I'll kind of notice it as well. I don't know if it's come from experience of feeling that way, and I'll just see like, this is looking difficult today. Like, how was your sleep? Yeah. And then they'll be like, it wasn't great. Yeah. And I'm like, okay, well, what wasn't great about it? What's going on? And then you can kind of help them a bit more. Everyone's situation is different, right?
Exactly.
But yeah, I think it's important to think about rest is like very, very, very important for any progress that you do in the gym, whether it be like muscle mass building or weight loss.
Or even just like
all of it, being able to... just the brain being happy. It's working, that's great. Yes. It kind of has the same like similar vibe to like, drink more water. You're like, I know but like, I know but I do see like my clients, like if I have someone new, I'll be like, hey, are you like during the break portion of I'll be like, do you want some water? And people usually, this is like very consistent experience that I have, usually when I'm with someone that's new, they're like, I don't have a water bottle, or I forgot it. I'm like, bring your water bottle. And now I have clients years from now and they have like these giant water bottles. It just makes me so happy. It makes me proud to see it, because I find like personally when you have a big bottle, it's like more visual for you to see, okay, that's the quantity I have to drink today. And then you try like a little bit harder. If it's your environment, right? Like you prepare it a bit more, then it's easier to achieve like your goals. And water is super, super important too. So
and it's like trying to decrease the amount of steps too. If you have a smaller water bottle,
then you have to fill it up a million times. Get the big guy. Get a big clunker and you're good. That's it. That's all you have to do. Just fill it up once, and if you finish it during the, then you're having enough.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it's heavier, but you have to be stronger anyway.
Exactly. You'll be good. You're drinking enough water, you'll be stronger at the same time too. It's a win-win.
Exactly.
Do you have a giant water bottle? Are you one of the giant water bottle people?
I don't really have a giant one. Like a liter, maybe?
Oh, that's great though. That's really good. So how many times do you usually like fill it? Like,
I try and do at least 3.
That's good.
If I get 2, then I'm happy.
Oh yeah, it's hard. Like you're like, water. Like it's good to show that like even like people in our line of work struggle with these things too. I think that kind of makes it easier for people that feel a little apprehensive or intimidated about coming to a gym. Okay, they're just people like me.
Just regular people.
Just regular. Exactly. Like I don't finish my water bottle every day. No. Like I really don't. And like when I don't, I'm like, okay, what can I do tomorrow to kind of get on track? But it doesn't happen all the time. No. It's just like that I'm trying to is enough. Yeah.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And we eat our ice cream, we eat our pizza.
Oh, totally.
So often.
Yeah, of course. Everything in moderation. I find like when you start restricting things, especially things that you enjoy and like add joy to your life, it like kind of has like a slip, you know, because you're like, oh, I can't have this. It makes you want it more.
Exactly.
It makes you want it way more.
And you want a lot of it.
You want all of it. So if you're restricting something that you enjoy, you know, on the weekend, then you're like, all right, let's go.
Yeah.
Let's go have ice cream. It's me and you this weekend. But if you have like, I don't know, small bowl, like portion it out. Like you could have it every night too if you wanted to, if that's like your thing. Like just having it a little bit more. And I bet if you had it once a night, you wouldn't want it as much.
No.
So yeah, just like feed that part of your brain, that like impulsive type of part, like that part that's like, let's do this, and you're logical.
Sometimes it gets to the point where just like a bite or two is enough.
Yeah,
to satisfy
absolutely. Yeah, for sure. I feel like if you were to have like it a little bit more in your life and feel okay, it's fine. It's just food. There are no good or bad foods, just food. Yeah. So but that's hard too. Yes. Oh my God, it's difficult as well. Yeah, and I can see that with like when people, because everybody has their thing, you know, and they're like, don't touch that thing. Yeah, like whether it be like I have a Diet Coke every day, you know, I have some clients that are like, okay, this is like, I really like ice cream, but like I don't know if I can control myself. Right. And it's like, well, why don't you just have a little bit, and then you'll see that you do have a little bit more control than you're giving yourself credit for, right? Once we start to kind of label foods and push them away, that's like not the healthiest thing for the way that we're living. Like we want this to be like a long, like it's your life, like it has to be sustainable. So definitely enjoy like your pizza and ice cream and whatever, you know?
Sometimes I like to kind of surprise people by telling them that they can have actually a little bit more than they thought. Yes. Like last summer, I remember I had a client who wanted to lose like 5 pounds or something. Yeah. Just because she's older, she likes to do a lot of distance running. Yeah. And a few pounds can make a difference on your joints, right? When you're a little bit older. Yeah. I asked her if there was anything different that she started doing over the summer. And she was like, oh, I've started eating this, like having an ice cream bar after dinner every night. I was like, okay, it's not a huge deal. No. So, you know, maybe try doing it I'll give you 4 nights a week. Yeah,
just take a few days away.
And she's like, oh, I thought you were going to tell me to take it
not have it.
No.
Yeah, I think a lot of people are guilty around like their food choices as well. And that's already hard to choose what you're going to eat like every day. Like it's very difficult. It's funny when people are like, oh, this is okay. Yeah. They're like, of course it's fine.
And it's like, they're also more successful at it too.
Exactly.
Right? Whereas if you tell them, oh, you can't have this at all.
Oh my God, that's awful. It's not realistic. No, like forever. What do you mean? Like, and of course, like if a diet works for someone, like I don't really touch it as much. Like if someone's on keto, I'm like, how is that working for you? How do you enjoy it? Like I can't put my own like shoes into it, you know? Because for me, like when I restrict, like I get into like eating disorder, like type of, but maybe someone that doesn't have that predisposition for that can enjoy something like this. So I try to be very like open to everything, anything and everything. If that works for you, then that's awesome. Yeah. And you found something that works for you. But for me, it's like I will eat whatever, but just in moderation, you know? Like I'm not gonna go crazy and sit down and eat the tub of ice cream. I'm gonna have maybe a bowl, and then I'm gonna pair it with, you know, like a really nice dinner before that, so I can get like my nutrients and stuff. But you also want to think of like, I deserve a little treat, you know, like, and that's okay, you know, I deserve it. And just trying to not put too much emphasis on like, this is bad. And I think a lot of clients feel that way.
Really bad.
No, it's just moderation. Food is just food, right? Exactly. So it's like when people get into like, well, why are you using that sugar? Yeah. It's like, oh my God, it's a little much. Like it's a bit much. Like in my opinion, like your golden sugar versus your, you know, your just white sugar. Like if you prefer the taste of that, that's another thing. But if you're, you know, like swearing off something, it might not work out. That's why we see yo-yo diets a lot. Just being mindful of like what you're what you're doing to.
And the dose matters.
The dose matters for sure. Like, for sure it does.
Like, a little teaspoon of sugar in your coffee?
Oh my God, it's okay.
Yeah.
It's okay. I'm telling you now, it's fine. It's all good. It's like, what else are you doing? Like, you know, did you wake up with your coffee and then did you go for a nice walk? Like, then that's like just trying to add that to your life, like trying to make it more joyful, more enjoyable. Like that should be the goal of it.
Yeah. But on the other hand, if it's like a daily, you know, venti Starbucks,
that's different. Yes, that's come on, that's the treats. Treats. Yeah. Moderation. Yeah, if you're having that kind of every day, and it's just good to know like what you are drinking. I agree with that. Like that's important, especially when it comes to weight loss. You might be having a coffee every day and you're like, oh my God, I did not realize this is 300 calories of liquid. That's different. Like that is completely different. And there are tons of alternatives that are a little bit like less calorie dense. You know, if that's something that you want, then maybe not have a venti. Maybe have like, you know, the little one. The tall, have a tall. Because
there's steps.
There's steps.
The journey.
Totally.
Right? So if you're somebody who's used to having the venti every day, just going down to a tall will make a huge difference.
It would.
Over the long term,
for sure. It's like people that get like double Tim Hortons coffees and they're like the giant ones. Those have a lot of calories in it actually. And most people are not aware of it. You're like, oh, I'm just drinking it. You know? Gum has calories. Did you know that? I didn't know that. And I was like, that's wild. So it's just like being mindful about what you are eating and when you're eating it is really helpful. Especially when you're eating it. Because I feel like sometimes people reach for the less, I don't know, like the more calorie dense thing when they're either stressed or some sort of like emotionally active, or even just out of habit. Like you were saying your client, oh, I just have something sweet after dinner, which is okay, but it is a habit, right? And maybe we could switch it to like, oh, maybe you will have, you know, like you said, 4 times or 3 times a week instead. She probably will still want something sweet after dinner. So suggesting, I don't know, have like a smoothie, have something sweet that craves your sweet tooth, and then call it at that. Try it out. Like,
and what she ended up happening is she's like, the next week she was like, oh, I found these like yogurt bars that were lower calorie. I'm like, great.
That's really good. She did it on her own too. Wow, that's the best thing you could do, and just like preparing her environment for that too. Like, okay, got those in the freezer.
Yeah, exactly.
Wow.
And I was like, you didn't have to go that far, but that's great for you.
I mean, if that works and you enjoy it still, then my God, what a win-win. You're also working on your weight loss goals while, you know, switching to a healthier alternative. That's awesome.
I think, you know, helping somebody get to a place where they think a change is more doable.
Yes.
You know, not only are they able to feel like they can achieve it, but then a lot of times they're like, oh, you know, why don't I go the extra mile?
I think things.
I feel like I can.
I think like you have one win, it might snowball into another win. You know, like little things like that can really make a difference in like how you feel capable on your journey. Because a lot of times we have like so much self-doubt about this. Like a lot of people come to us and they're like, I have tried to lose weight for forever, or I've tried to gain muscle forever, I've tried to look this way or feel this way forever. And like it's very hard to go into that again being like, I might fail again, you know, like that's really difficult to start your journey. So just little things like that and taking notice of it is really, really helpful. Like, and some people don't take notice of it. Like I'll be in the gym with someone and they're doing way heavier lifts and I'm like, wow, you were not able to do that when we first started. And they're like, oh, yeah, you're right. And I'll try to remind them of like the beginning. I'll be like, hey, we started on this and now you're doing like such a progression from that. They're like, oh, yeah. And it gives them like just a sense of accomplishment, because I feel like sometimes we forget like how far we've come and stuff. So it's good to have someone being like, hey, you're doing great.
And look back.
Show them the evidence of them doing well. It will go far with people for sure.
So let's transition a little bit now, because recently you were promoted to managing the location. So I think from what I've seen you do, a lot of what you try to bring into this role is kind of like just uplift people and just make the environment as, you know, welcoming and as pleasant as possible.
Totally. I definitely try to go like the extra mile onto making the culture at the gym feel inclusive. I feel like that's really, really important. And just safe and stuff is like nice as well. So yeah, I try to definitely uplift and use like this platform for other things too. Like I started a charity for and I'm going to do a shameless plug. Yes. I started a water charity where we're selling water for the month of July, and all the proceeds go to Indigenous communities that don't have clean water. So I'm just finding this position. There's a lot of freedom for me to do more good and to do helpful things. So I'm really excited for like what that's going to bring to me in the future. The gym itself, like I do want people to feel like welcome. Like I go out of my way to kind of make connections with people that aren't my clients or whatever, but I just want them to feel welcome. And then another thing I do that's really important to me is I listen to, like, if the clients are saying something about the gym and they have suggestions, I'll go ahead and implement that, because like they know the environment, they've been here for maybe many years. So when people have suggestions, I really like to value their opinion. And then same with the staff too. Like I just want people to feel like they're able to come to me with things, or if there's like, you know, issues, I'm happy to solve them. I just want everybody to feel like this is a good place to come and, you know, work out and change your life. And it's like, it's a lot. And but I'm really grateful for like having that platform to try to make things a little bit nicer and safer and all that.
Yeah, I think it's important to have that welcoming atmosphere.
For sure.
A lot of people that come to us, you know, they come to us because they don't really know what they're doing.
Yeah, totally.
You know, what I hear a lot is, you know, them saying that, I never thought of myself as a gym person.
Yes.
And then they come in, they love it.
Yeah.
And then now they like can't even imagine ever stopping.
Totally. Yeah. Like I know a lot of people.
When it comes to exercise, you shouldn't stop.
Yes. I know a lot of people feel that way too. They're like, oh wow, like this is so part of my life now. And like it's important if someone's coming to see the gym 2-3 times, you know, even we have someone 5 times a week coming. Like I see these people so often, like I want to have like a good relationship and I want them to feel comfortable coming to me. So that's kind of my take on managing, is just making things a little bit more welcoming and comfortable. For anyone that feels intimidated, and for anyone at all, like it is like an intimidating thing to come into, right?
We're not like big scary trainers that people usually in their mind when they think of a personal trainer.
I think there's a good diversity of people that work for Freeform, so it's nice to see like different body types, different, you know, ethnicities and everything. Like that's important for like somewhere in Ottawa where we have a lot of diversity to come in and feel comfortable, you know. So that's very important. And then like also like LGBTQ community as well. Like I want like everybody to feel just like welcome, you know, because sometimes minorities don't feel welcome in spaces. So that's like, how can I make this better? What can I do to kind of like make that a little bit more comfortable for people? For sure.
Exactly. We have the luxury of having like a smaller space too, right? We don't have a ton of traffic coming through, so we're able to personalize a little bit more.
I think all the gyms are different, which is kind of funny because it'll like represent who's managing, I guess. So it's just funny, if you go to a different Freeform, you might get like a different experience, but it's like very right for where they are. So like in the Glebe, it's very, I don't know, like there's lots of people, lots of tourists, lots of families, and then in Wellington you guys have like a little bit of an older population / very like hipster-esque. So it's just funny how every Freeform is a little bit different and caters to that neighborhood. But
the overall feeling that I think people can get is that we're generally very welcoming, approachable people.
That's the best. I think like everybody that works for this company is like very interested in creating an experience that you just feel comfortable and like welcomed at. That's definitely the goal of managing a gym, for sure.
The last couple of weeks, Catherine, the trainers and the manager at the Wellington location, she's been away on vacation. So we're all seeing some of her clients, and one of her clients was training with Nick, and afterwards I was at the desk, and as she was like putting on her shoes and getting ready to leave, I said hi and chatted with her, and she was like, I asked, or I forget what she said exactly. But she said that I thought you were kind of mean at first. And
to you?
And I didn't want to But now I see you're not.
Oh.
I asked Nick if I could see you maybe next week.
Oh yeah. Okay, well that's like good. It's kind of like a backhanded compliment. Yeah. How did you react to that?
Give you that impression.
Yeah. Did you ask her?
No, I didn't. Maybe I'll ask her next time.
Yeah, if you're training with her.
Yeah.
I don't know. Sometimes when people are like, they could be in their own zone, like doing work and stuff, maybe, I don't know, they're like, oh, I haven't talked to this person, so I don't know them, you know?
Yeah. But it could be the person that she sees me training at the same time that she comes in.
Okay, yeah.
I don't think people realize that we change a lot based on
Oh, totally, for sure. Like you definitely change your vibe depending on who it is, right? Like you want to just mesh with your person, your client or whatever. It could be like, this is just one side of you, you know? Like that's just one side.
The person she happens to see me train is like more serious, so I'm
Is it more drill sergeant like with that?
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah,
like
that could be it.
I'm trying to think who she normally sees me with.
And you're like, what am I doing? That's all good. No, it is funny how like people like first impressions and stuff, but it's exciting. She's like, oh, I want to work with you. You know,
exactly.
It's nice. I love that. It had like a good ending. Yeah. Well rounded for sure.
But it would be good to know what gave her that impression. So
just to know. But like also it's not up to you to change like who you are for someone else. I would just be like, what's the reason though? Like just for data purposes. Just jotting down that data.
So what kind of other things do you kind of think about and hope to bring to all the members at the Glebe location?
Yeah, I think like for a while, like, and for those that don't know, like the Glebe didn't have like an active manager for a long time, or like people would be filling in for that role. The communication at the location was like to clients and stuff. Like it didn't feel as like a community, whereas like I want to bring more of that to people. So I am trying to do like things like charities and get the community more involved. I would like to see like for our location, kind of collaborating with different places, or maybe going to events that are in the Glebe so we can get more of the community involved. That's definitely like kind of the top priority here, is because I feel like there would be things happening but no one to tell people about them. So it's nice to have like, hey, this is like what's going on in the gym right now, and something simple like that, and just checking in with people like is important. So I think that is definitely definitely something that I want to be thinking about and working on.
Cool. And then what's next for you, Anna? Let's say next year.
That's a good question. I've been like thinking about that a lot, because it's been such a growth. Like to like 1 year from now, it's been very, very quick. I want to get more education. That's something that I really want to do, is maybe get more certifications or even go back to school for something. So I'm thinking more of the educational route right now, especially when I'm in a position like this where I have like some flexibility with hours and stuff. I think I would like to go to school to better like my personal training. That's kind of the next thing I've been thinking about, the next chapter. So hopefully some schooling, and that's hard in itself, but I've always wanted to go to school, so it would be very, very fulfilling for me to try to do that.